What's going on, everybody? Tuesday Night Live is back and back with another episode packed guest that we're going to learn something about. We've seen it, we don't know much about it, but we're going to learn. We're going to taste through several here that we've got. Corvette Trey is going to run the blind for us tonight. He'll be on with me and Top Jimmy, Peyton, and Brad. And so we're going to dive into some Bushwood, guys, and learn more about the brand, the juice that's in the bottles, what they have coming, what they can talk about, and we'll try to get in their head and see what we can learn about coming soon from them. Right now, we've got 3 bottles in the giveaway. We've got the Bushwood 5. Trey has got the Bushwood bottled in bond 7-year, and we've got a Still Austin cast strength bourbon. So there you go with that. So there you go. Anything, guys, I'll get the wheels going as we move. But with that, let's get our guest on here. Let's get the Top Jimmy. There he is, the Top Jimmy, and the Corvette Trey is here. This is the Brad Carpenter, and Peyton is with us. Awesome. Guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's get into some Bushwood. So if y'all want to, let's talk a little bit, whoever wants to go, Brad, Peyton, let's talk a little bit about the brand, when you got started, what got you into whiskey, the whole shebang, so that we can get caught up to the tasting. So whoever wants to go.
Yeah, I'll start out. Thank you all for having us on. We really appreciate it. Peyton brought this to my attention, and I was eager to get on here and talk about our products and hang with you guys for a little bit and
sure,
and give you some information on our products. But Bushwood, really by name, was set up to kind of evoke a community feel, and I kind of liken the United States of America right now to Bushwood. On many levels, we're one big dysfunctional country club, all trying to live under the same roof and make it together. And so we wanted to infuse a little levity into our brand in an otherwise serious time, and sort of create a quotable product in a ultra premium package, ultra premium whiskey. And I think one of the things that's super important about our brand and about our ethos is that we want to create a conversation piece, and we want to keep humor in everything that we do. But at the same time, we're very deadly serious about the quality of the products that we put out, and everything about the offering that we bring forward to the public. So as it relates to the products that you guys have in your presence, sort of we're in our 4th iteration of products, and every one of the brand owners and the distillers out there, there's an evolution that we all go through when we build these products. And we ultimately hope to arrive at a place where we feel comfortable with the products that we're bringing out, and the public, the buying public, sees the evolution, understands the meaning of the brand, and falls in love with the juice inside the bottle. So to the products that we're talking about today, we have a core lineup. And the core lineup has always been the front 9, the back 9, the long ball, and the still water. We had the name Bushwood set aside specifically for a product that we would call a Bushwood bourbon, as opposed to Bushwood long ball, Bushwood still water, Bushwood front 9, Bushwood back 9. We wanted our entry level product to be called Bushwood by itself. And this most recent launch, which took place within the past 45 days or so, brought our Bushwood wheated bourbon to market. We are known for premium single barrels. We are known to be age stated. We do best of breed. We're very specific about the juice that we put in the bottles of a specific quality, no matter what the age is. We're not afraid to put an age statement on any bottle that we put out. And again, as I said, we're all single barrels. So the Bushwood wheated bourbon is an exceptional entry level product. I can tell you that at a $49.99 sort of suggested retail price, it's by far the lowest price whiskey we've ever brought out. And the 5-year age statement, speaks to what you'd expect for that type of a particular product. And there's a lot of brands out there that are of similar age that don't put age statements on those bottles. So we're in a very good company out there with this particular product. in the weeded category, which is very approachable, as you guys know. It's a little more, it's gentler, let's put it like that. So many people that are entering the bourbon marketplace, they prefer this weeded expression. But tell me how you guys want to walk into showing these products and kind of doing a little history check and maybe even doing a tasting, so we can understand what we're doing. And I'm going to let Peyton kind of jump in and talk about the products as well, because he does an amazing job. And as you guys already know, he runs almost the entire Southeast out there, manages brokers and salespeople, and does more tastings than my guy. I can't even believe the number of tastings this guy does. So he's very good at, and we're very lucky to have him.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Brad. Yeah, do you
Yeah,
all
bring
wanna...
up the bring up. Yeah, we want to bring up the Bushwood bourbon. We can talk about it, and if you have any graphics or you want to hold a bottle up, and we can kind of talk about it. How do you generally do this?
I can make it full screen. Let's see here. Yeah, whatever you want to show, I can do it.
Marty, I'm on their website, so I can just
go ahead
share
and
my screen.
Yeah, we can share screen.
Okay.
We'll do it that way.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll chime in and just say, man, how articulate and eloquent is Brad. I mean, he you can't top that, right? It's tough going after him. He's the mastermind behind the entire company. He's the reason that we've gotten to this point where we are. I'm fortunate enough to have gotten in early on this project in 2022, taken over the kind of the Southeast region. But he's all business, and he's the real deal. And I know one thing, and that's if I have great bourbon and good packaging and a good story behind it, and I let enough people try it, the product sells itself. So people always like to ask me, when I do these tastings, like Brad mentioned, how do you sell so many bottles at these tasting events and at these festivals, or you name it? And I said, I wish I could take credit for it, but honestly, the juice speaks for itself. So one thing that Brad kind of instilled in me, and this is kind of something I like to share with my audience and guests at the tastings, is there's a lot of phenomenal bourbons out there, phenomenal whiskeys. A lot of them don't look that attractive on your bar. And then you can buy a lot of bottles that might have phenomenal packaging and look really great up there, but the juice might let you down. So one thing that I love about Brad's approach to this company and this brand is his mission to check all the boxes. So he wanted, obviously, have a great name, great packaging, unique packaging. Everything's engineered from the ground up for us. It's not some template or something that other people are using. But the juice is phenomenal. Everyone loves our topper. It truly does check every single box. So it's a great organization to be a part of.
Yeah, that topper's. I think we're on version. What version are we on, Peyton? We're like on version 11.
4?
Yeah, it's
Is
pretty
it 11?
deep. So this topper is taken on a sort of a life of its own, boys. I don't know if you've. I guess you don't know that much about the brand, but I would tell you again, like I said earlier, we like to infuse humor in everything we do, and if you can't make fun of yourself in your journey in the whiskey business, which by the way I consider one to be one of the hardest businesses I've ever had the privilege of being involved with. It's like doing a Rubik's Cube and playing chess at the exact same time, trying to figure it all out, the nuances, the distribution, really how to stay relevant, to become relevant and stay relevant. And I think over the past 4 years, we've sort of seen 4 completely different years. You would expect, and you guys know this, you're in this business. You talk a lot about whiskeys, you talk a lot about the environment that we're in. But I can tell you, if I reflect on COVID and the drinking habits during COVID and how people approach the business from both a collectability perspective, an investment perspective, a consumption perspective, et cetera, and integrated into their everyday life. And people became super, super obsessed with whiskey. I mean, look at Top Jimmy right there. That is a standard showpiece in almost, I would tell you, half the nation's homes. The collections that people have amassed and amassed during that time. It's a passion for many people, and it's been a passion for me. And so when you start a brand, you can imagine if you're a collector, you know how passionate you are about just collecting brands and about really understanding the business itself. But when you start a brand and it becomes your livelihood and it's your kid, it becomes something, I would say. I mean, look, I'm already, obsessive compulsive as it is. I'm kind of a perfectionist. So, and I'm no different. I'm not saying I'm any different than any other brand owner out there or collector, but at the same time, it's personal to me. So, we really wanted to maintain a certain aesthetic across the spectrum of our products. The toppers, as I said, was an 11-year journey. We've gone from the initial glass toppers, which were beautiful, and we used to seal the bottles with wax, which was, man, that's another story in and of itself. But again, super amusing journey just with the topper by itself. And our labels, we've gone through different iterations of labels trying to get a look and a feel that ultimately was what we wanted. And I think we're where we want to be now. I think I feel very strongly now that the products that we have in the portfolio are core. And we're going to come out of this with about 4 central products, all of which we have on this particular episode. And I think that the journey and the humor behind the story and the evolution of our product, I think that probably keeps us together and keeps us strong, because it has been 4 very unique years or actually almost 5 unique years, not one of them being even remotely like the previous year or the coming year. So going through those markets when you're a new brand, trying to build a position, trying to get people to understand what you've created and what it means.
Yeah.
At the same time, they're distracted with all these other things. It's a place, man. I mean, it's a grind. But it's the most fun I've ever had in the business, probably because it's the most challenging.
Right. Well, let's continue. I'm loving it, but let's get to this first sample, which I think is the bottle I have up on screen here. Correct? The Bushwood Wheated 94
Correct.
proof. Right. All right. Talk us through this specific expression.
Yeah. So this particular mash bill was a 75-25 corn, wheat, malted barley. Again, we've been talking about and sort of touting our wheated products for a couple of years now, as they age to maturity. We have a partnership and have had a partnership multiple years with Bardstown Bourbon Company, whom you all know and probably love.
Mm-hmm.
We also have a long-term relationship with Green River, who is owned by the conglomerate that owns Bardstown Bourbon. So many people source their products. I chose these, early on. David and Dan, you might know from Bardstown Bourbon, the founders of Bardstown Bourbon, are good friends of mine, very wise individuals. They've done a number of incredible things and continue to do a number of incredible things in the business. And because we wanted to do contract distilling as opposed to opening up our own distillery, these guys became our go-to guys. So the juices that you're tasting, specifically this particular product here, is a Bardstown Bourbon product that was laid down and that we specifically chose due to the profile of the mash bill. I love the fact that even at the age you're tasting now, you're getting a more mature tasting expression than you would expect at 5 years. And like I said, this is I've run the gamut on this product, and I've got a number of very prominent individuals in the business that love this expression and drink it neat. which is interesting to me because it is such a young expression, right? I see this as a mixer. I also see it as if you dilute it a little bit, even with the cube, you're getting, in my particular view, get it down to about 90 proof or so. I think you're going to get something you could drink neat, something that's pretty amazing. But overall, to me, this is the product that I would make my specialty cocktails with. That's what I see and what specifically I came out with this product to address. So I love it. I love everything about it. It will continue as we age existing barrels. This product's only going to get better, but it's an amazing product.
It's very smooth. It goes down very easy. I like it a lot. A little sweet on the palate. You know, it kind of follows through, and I don't think you need to dilute it down. I think it's good the way it is.
Yeah, 90. I got to tell you,
5 years.
Say it again.
For 5 years and 94 proof. Look at the legs.
Yeah, I know
this thing.
Yeah,
I mean, holy moly!
I don't know if I would have, maybe based off color, but I don't know if I would have said this was a 5 year if I didn't look at it. And I was just drinking it.
Yeah. And we've never done anything at 94 proof either. The lowest expression that we've done is 95 prior to this. We're typically float around that 95 to 110 with our original back nine coming out at 107.3, which sounds like a great radio station. And then we had a front nine 6 year as well. So those were really great products, pretty straightforward bourbons. But as we've dug in, we've tried to get a little bit more specific about what we're trying to accomplish with these mash bills.
Right.
I mean, this thing, I'm getting like creme brulee sugar right off the nose on this.
Yep. Honey.
You get a little cinnamon spice.
Honey.
Little sugar cookie.
You're definitely going to pick up some cinnamon there for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely strong on the nose. I think if you tried to guess the proof, I think you might be able to pull a weeder off of it, but it'd be hard. But I think it would be at least a 110 proof for me.
Yep. I agree with that.
It comes across a little bit, which I like. That's great. Mess with me, make me think,
right.
Make me pick it apart, But yeah, I think this one's really good.
Yeah, and the one of the best things is when you have a preconception of what you think you're going to get when you see 5 year weeded or whatever, and you're pleasantly surprised with, with something like this. This is fantastic.
Yeah, it's definitely definitely something that you don't expect. Which, to be honest with you, we try to deliver with every one of our expressions. We try to give you something you don't expect.
Right.
We move these barrels around a lot. We move these barrels around a lot ourselves. I've lived in some places where the seasonal weather patterns are very extreme. But I got to tell you, man, I mean, you guys are in the Tennessee, Kentucky area, right? How many of you are in Tennessee and how many of you in Kentucky?
I'm Raleigh, North Carolina.
Oh, that's the same situation. Same situation with your weather patterns all in that area from North Carolina through Kentucky into Tennessee. I mean, you have some of the most insane 4 seasons extreme weather events. It's unbelievable. It's like Oklahoma almost. So that really benefits whiskey when you're aging whiskey, right? As you all know.
Yeah.
What's been great about this product in my territory, and of course, this is the Southeast, Tennessee, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and I'll be fully transparent. In the last 4 years or so, we haven't really had a whiskey under the $75, $85 price point. And so the feedback that I've been getting from our distributors and from retailers is that everyone loves Bushwood. It's not a problem if they enjoy the juice or the packaging or the name of the story. They love it. But it's a centerpiece on their shelf, on their back bar, or they're at home. And they said people are buying it, but they're not consuming it. They're so proud of it and they want to save it. And all I kept hearing was, Peyton, if you want to really, go after this market and really ramp it up, you need a product under $50. People are going to spend that, and they're going to be wanting to drink it. They're going to come back for more, and it's not going to be necessarily a bottle someone just buys and wants to hang on for a year, or only pop the top when they have a special occasion or have company over. So I know Brad's been working on this product for a couple of years, but the timing has been phenomenal, because right around the time that, this was in high demand, we were able to release it. So we're excited to see, especially what 2026 can deliver with the 5-year.
Yeah, 100%.
That's fantastic. All right.
Thank
so
you very much.
What do we want to do? Do we want to go to E now? Is that what?
Yeah. Go to F.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is F?
F is the long ball bottled in bond.
So long ball bottled in bond is, that is the product that launched 1,000 ships for Bushwood. So when we first hit the market with long ball, I don't know. I can't honestly tell you. I think the name itself resulted in a lot of purchases. People loved the name. Then I think they got into the whiskey. This particular expression, and one of the things we love about the juice with the long ball, is the char 4-level cask aging. So you get the deep oak. You're going to get a much more mature, interesting, complex flavor profile with the long ball series, and that even includes the wheated because of that char, and then the proofage being 100 or higher, right?
Yeah.
So the long ball was the product that all the chain retailers picked first to go out with. It's also the product that many of our most prestigious private clubs and resort clubs took first.
Tell me real quick, which one of these on the page am I supposed to click on? Is it the gold label or the wheated?
Gold label bottled in bond, right there on the lower left. That one.
Gotcha. All right.
There you go. Yeah, good. I know. So this is one of the things we talk about. We've got 3 long ball expressions, and so what we've chosen to do, this is the reason why we're talking about this core lineup. The long ball has been a great seller for us. When we even started discussing the long ball wheated product, that extension, the market went crazy. The response was you couldn't get it to market fast enough. And so you guys know how the prices have fluctuated in the bourbon market over the past, let's call it a year and a half, really. 2 years max, right? So when you're in the whiskey business, you have to be sensitive to those. And I come from a commodities trading background. And so I'm very sensitive to price fluctuations in things like this. And we could have done what many people did, which was buy into the rapidly rising bourbon marketplace, acquire barrels at outrageous prices, but we chose to hold off until the market settled down and the froth went away. And what that enabled us to do is put us in a barrel situation where we could get back to business, the business of running a business and the business of making money, right? So the long ball products are incredible, but we're probably going to do seasonal and specialty long ball OG, which is the product you're looking at right now. And we're going to focus on the long ball wheated as the core expression. But that doesn't diminish the quality of that particular product in any way, shape, or form. We still have many of our chain customers that lean into the long ball, the expression you're looking at now, which is that bottled in bond. But what I'd like you guys to do is crack that thing. Let's give it a taste together, and you're going to see what I'm talking about. This is an insane product. And what makes this product so special, guys, is it's the same distillate as what was recently christened the best bourbon in the world. So if you do a little history check over the past 3 months, and what you want to do is Google Green River's wheated expression, or I'm sorry, Green River's core expression here. You're going to find out that this particular mash bill is the same mash bill that was christened the best bourbon in the world. It's a very interesting fact.
So, Ray, which sample are we on? Are we on F?
F.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry.
So we leaned into this. We leaned into this mash bill 4 years ago, very, very hard, and started amassing barrels maybe over 4 years ago. And I've always loved this product. It's very special product. It's incredible. So it'll never actually completely disappear from our portfolio, but it will be a specialty item. And when you see it, it will be even more desirable than it is now.
A little fun fact about the long ball vertical, whether it's the weeded, the OG bottled and bond, or the barrel proof, our long ball vertical holds our record of the most amount of customers, buyers, whoever that write into us and say, we just entered this into a bottle share or took it to a tasting and it beat out all of these other brands, these very, well-respected bourbons. And so the long ball holds the record for that. I mean, it's up there with the best of the best.
Yep.
I kind of get the Green River on it. I wish I had a bottle right here to compare with it, but
I see that Green River bottle on the back shelf there, Marty.
Yeah. Green Rivers.
Yeah, I got it there. Yeah, right here. Yeah.
Yep.
I've got the weeder over there.
Yep.
Mm.
You're not on the weeder yet. You'll know when you're on the weeder, buddy.
Yeah, this is definitely
fantastic.
It's got some char to it for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's got that cooked cherry.
Mm-hmm.
The light oak on the finish. Sweet. Sweet oak on the finish.
Definitely coats the palate.
I just like how it starts in the nose and continues, and it doesn't. Sometimes it'll either turn really oaky or it'll just drop off immediately, and it just kind of stays throughout. But you get other flavors throughout. I really like that.
Yeah, and look, here's the thing: as the bourbon market matures, you need to think about the history of bourbon as it is, right? So forever and ever and ever, people getting into the bourbon space, whether they're drinking it for the first time or collecting it or whatever, they have a very specific set of criteria based on what's been in the marketplace and what they understand about the marketplace from history and so forth. And so people are creatures of habit by nature, and what they get into for whatever reason, many of them stay with. This is my go-to. This is what I'm going to drink for the rest of my life. And I don't give it a hey about anything else. And the business has evolved. And I've spoken about this on many times. Anytime I get the opportunity, is that there's so many great, I'm not going to call anybody an innovator, but there's a really creative entrepreneurs in the whiskey space right now doing some amazing things. I like to think we're in that category, but things have changed dramatically. And so the flavor profiles and the things that we're able to do, even with these single barrels, are creating incredible expressions. So these new companies are not to be underestimated when you're potentially comparing them to the legacy brands. And you know who the legacy brands are. So, we're all out there fighting the same battle. We're all just as hardcore about competing and being the best as the big guys are. So I encourage anybody watching this who's looking to experiment and try new things to understand that we're all on a mission to give you the absolute best experience and to create unique products that are special and taste incredible. So that's what these products are doing.
I mean, we haven't got to the one that actually got us to this scenario we're in now. But, when I walked in, for those that don't know, Peyton and I met randomly at a store. And, we just started talking, and I really wasn't trying anything. I was there for a pick for someone else. And he and I started talking, and he listened to what I liked, and he pulled out one bottle and said, "You got to try it before you leave." And that's where this came from. And I mean, it was something that for novelty, something like that, I might have bought in the past. I love the bottle. It's like you said, the topper looks great. I mean, it's a good looking bottle. I mean, I like gimmicky stuff, but all that's good juice too over there. So, but at the same time, as soon as I got it, I was like, man, it just surprised me. Kind of like the weeder at first. For a 5-year, it surprised me. And that's what I like is when we find a brand that's doing things that it's like, okay, It's not a gimmick. It's not just this. There's real thought behind it. And, you know, going to the long ball, I'm really looking forward to the cask, which is next, but that's really good. I mean, that's a solid product. I love it. It's well done.
Thank you. Yeah. We're proud of it.
Did you shoot for the cigar wrapper label?
I did.
Good.
100%. 100%.
Good. It looks nice.
I used to be much more of a cigar consumer than I am now. I've got 8-year-old twin daughters, so I'm not gonna, you know, if they see people smoking cigars right now, they lose their mind. Daddy, they're smoking. So, you know, I got to keep it clean around my kids and not smell like a cigar. But I love a good cigar. So, you know, these whiskeys, I would tell you every expression we've got is great with a cigar, every single one of them. But as we get deeper into the portfolio, you're gonna know what I'm talking about when I tell you, not just from an aesthetic perspective and labels and so forth, but the taste profile of these definitely speaks. I'm into cigars, right? So, you know, it's there's definitely a love there, and I push that love out in a way that I can't in front of my kids.
I got you. No, but this one's really good also.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoy it, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what this does in the cask strength.
No, that's super special. Peyton can attest to the popularity of the cask.
Yeah, the cask strength actually outperformed Bottled and Bond in most of the major spirit competitions. So that speaks volumes. You know, a lot of brands are diluting some barrels to make it better, and it just says a lot when you're straight from the barrel is outperforming the bonded. So you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, I think sometimes when you get to one, it's got the notes, it's got all that, but sometimes it needs a little bit more punch here or there. Just you can tell the flavors will open up with just a little bit more.
And you know, it's interesting, Trey. The barrels themselves for us, and the whiskeys that we've chosen to put in our bottles, it seems to me that the higher proof we put in the bottle, the smoother the expression gets across the board, which is interesting, right? So crack open that barrel proof, that cask strength long ball, and tell me what you think about that, because that's pretty special
G,
stuff.
fellas.
G.
That would be the
so we're going long ball barrel proof.
Yeah, no, this is the cask strength.
The cask strength long ball. Yep.
Okay. On the website, is that the barrel proof? Is that what we're calling it?
Yep, that's what we're calling it.
Okay.
Trey, are you wearing the wood hat there?
Yeah, I mean, you know,
I thought it was. Yep.
I mean,
that's a nice hat, Trey.
I will say, I thought about using my cups tonight, but I figured it was a little bit better.
Woo.
So I appreciate that. I actually really like this hat. I've worn it.
It's a great hat. You know, there's a message behind everything we do, Trey.
Hey, you know, I thought about setting my golf clubs out, but they hadn't been used since the day I bought them. So I figured I'd just wear the hat.
Trey, there's an expression around Bushwood, and that is, if you play golf, enjoy it while you can, because once you start it at Bushwood, you're not going to be playing as much golf as you did before. We're a golf lifestyle brand. So our DNA is in the golf space, but we are so doggone busy. We just do not get the chance to play that often. I got a chance to play this past weekend up in Pebble Beach at a course called the TPC at Pasadena, and I hadn't touched a club in 5 months. So it's an absolute pleasure when we do get to go out and experience the round. But
I always tell people I get my money's worth, because I'm going to take more swings than anybody else.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. That's the idea.
You know, one of the things that I really like when I get the opportunity to do it with any distillery is I love bottle and bond. I love cask strength. And when I can get the same expression at both, you know, that bottle and bond, especially in your case, a higher aged bottle and bond, and then get the same juice cast strength. It's such a great thing to be able to try them side by side and see what that, that extra proof is doing for the exact same, distillate.
100%.
I'm going to hold my comments till y'all try it. So.
See, the good news for you guys is you've opened up your palate already. You kind of gotten in there. You've done your stretches. You've done your calisthenics. You're warmed up. Now you're working out.
Is that why my back hurts?
Brad, speaking of back hurting, have you got the chance to share with the team here about your history and how Bushwood came to be?
No, it's funny. I've told that story so many times, and every time I tell it, I reflect on it, and I'm like, is that? I mean, who really wants to hear it? Because it's such a downer. It's such a downer kind of story. But I think I've learned to tell the funny side of that story. So, back in 2010, I was playing golf, playing a lot of golf, and I was sort of happily retired and writing some screenplays and dabbling in, trading and doing some stuff. And some buddies of mine called me in to start a hedge fund, a commodities-based hedge fund. And so I took the gig and did that for a little bit. And one day I was on my way back to my house for lunch, and I got hit head on by a girl who was texting. And, it was a pretty serious accident. I mean, head on, as you can imagine, is a pretty big deal. But long story short, I ended up going into my buddy because I was experiencing some severe nerve pain in my left arm coming out of my neck. And I went to my doctor, my friend who's an orthopedic surgeon, and he said, you have a brachial plexus injury, which is all the nerves coming out of this nerve root, right? And so he gave me some medication. It's pretty serious medication, right? It's supposed to take away the pain. I think we all know what kind of medication I'm talking about. But there was 2 different types of that medication that he gave me. And about 2 weeks into that medication, I started experiencing rapid weakness and muscle deterioration in the arm. And within 30 days of starting to take both of these medications they put me on, my left arm was completely and utterly paralyzed from the shoulder down to the hand. I could do nothing with it. So if you can imagine a piece of spaghetti that had just gotten done boiling and sticking it on the side of your arm, that's what my arm was like. So, I kind of went to all these doctors, and, everybody was running all these tests on me thinking I was, either had ALS or MS or something heavy. And, I don't know what possessed me to just keep a positive attitude about it and kind of make jokes about it, but I did. And so, as is always the case with me, I always hang out with, guys who make relentless fun of me. So even if in perfect health, my buddies are always going to rip on me and give me a hard time, which is exactly what I want in my friends. And so when I was just messed up, paralyzed guy, my friends are just laying into me. You can't even believe the things they were saying. So it was great. So they'd take me out and whatever. And during this time, I was also, I'd watch DVD episode or reruns of Caddyshack. And as the more I watched it, I'm like, man, I can't believe nobody's made a sequel to this movie. So I said, well, I got nothing but time while I'm recovering. Why don't I just see what I can do? So I started working on a concept, and it became an obsession. And I started treating it like, Woodward and Bernstein, like I'm going deep into the journalistic mode, bringing sort of a realistic turn to this story. But to fast forward, I created the backstory of Chevy Chase's character and the fact that they were bootleggers, and that's how they made their money. And the name of their distillery was Bushwood, and that it was based in Bushwood, Maryland, which is an actual place when they first started. Prior to Prohibition, they moved it to Chicago, because if you think about it, that was Al Capone. There was a lot going on in Chicago, if you really look at the historical aspect of everything that was going on during that time. And so Chicago was a great deal. So they bought a bunch of huge piece of land. And you might recall that the original Caddyshack was thematically supposed to be in Chicago, although it was shot in Florida, right? You know that Bushwood, the country club, was set in Chicago, right? Because that's where the Murray brothers were from, and Brian Doyle Murray wrote that script with Doug Kinney and Harold Ramis. And so the long and short of it is, I'm like, this is great, and so I took the story back to the beginning and the foundation of the club, and then I also brought it forward, to today. And I infused a little bit of this product into that storyline. And as fate would have it, I got the opportunity to pitch it to John Peters out in LA a few years later. And he said, this is the greatest Caddyshack concept anybody's brought to me. So let's make a movie. We'll take it to Warner Brothers and make a movie. And that's a whole different story. But the long and short of it is that didn't come to pass because of Me Too. Me Too really kind of shut down that conversation. And John suffered, as many of the heavies in Hollywood did, with perceptions and so forth. But I pulled that project back, and I decided at that time that the Bushwood whiskey thing was a pretty damn cool idea. And so I said, I'm going to build this brand. And I contacted my attorney and I said, hey, I've done a cursory search and it looks like the Bushwood name is available for spirits. Can I trademark it? And it turns out I could. So then I started trademarking all this other stuff related to golf and, some other lore. And then I started working on bottle design and doing all this under the cover of, I didn't tell anybody about it, nothing, for years. And it was with my own money and my own time. And long about 2016, a fellow buddy of mine was having a party for the Mayweather-McGregor fight. And I don't know if you remember that fight, but at the very end of the fight, when McGregor went the distance, he held up a bottle of Proper 12 in the ring. Do you remember that? That was the launch of Proper 12. That was the official marketing tactic that they used for the release of that particular whiskey. And many of the people sitting there are like, my God, everybody's making a fortune in booze. We got to start a booze company. And I leaned forward and I said, I got an idea. I'd had a couple drinks. You always open your fat mouth when you have a couple drinks. And the brand was literally born 24 hours later.
Wow.
Had several of the guys go, I'm in, and it became a thing. And so we were set to launch in 2020. COVID hit. I got a little panicky. I'm like, shit, what the hell is going to happen? But it turns out, right? Everybody was playing golf and drinking whiskey. Those were the two things people were doing at the outset of COVID. So our timing was great. And then we just kind of came in and did our own thing, little small proof of concept. I didn't try to raise, $20 million and go out strong. We just funded it out of our own pockets, and we kept the company small, and we made our mistakes. We licked our chops, but we stayed small, debt free for a reason, because we were unsure. We didn't know this business. I mean, are you kidding me? I can drink with the best of them, but running a whiskey business, that's a completely different idea, right? So fast forward to now, all the things I've shared with you about the various releases that we've gone through, our discipline in getting to here, learning this business as every other guy who's come into the whiskey space and decided, for whatever crazy reason, they decided they wanted to launch a brand. There's so many of us that are passionate about that. And we're just one of them. But the story is there's a lot of really funny sub-stories that go into that, into the evolution of this brand. But that's the core that Peyton was referring to. So
such a great story.
I'll say that we have something in common. You choose to hang out with your buddies because that they bust your balls.
Bottom line.
Relentlessly, and that's why I got into this community. I didn't have enough of that in my life, so I got into this.
You gotta have it.
Yeah,
we're never going to be the best that we can be if everybody's telling us what we want to hear.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
I've never, ever wanted to be complimented. I've always wanted to be ripped apart so I could reconstruct myself and come back a better version of myself.
Right. All right, Trey, we're going on to sample A, I think. What is sample A?
Oh, so hold on. So tell me what you guys thought about that. I interrupted you in the middle of the drinking.
Yeah.
I think it tastes its proof. I think this one's again, like I think cooked cherry finish with a lot of barrel note on the back end. It's got baking spice as it finished. And I think that's where the proof plays a role in it. I think it's that and the baking spice for me, but I'll let the other guys.
It reminds me, I grew up with a mom that, she made homemade jam, and she made boysenberry jam. We grew boysenberries in the yard, and she made boysenberry jam. And when that stuff was on the pot, and it's stewing down, and that's what this reminds me of.
I love boysenberry.
Yeah,
I think that's a good call. I actually haven't heard that. That's a really good call.
Yeah, I really like the dark fruit, kind of
stewed.
Gets a little oaky, maybe a little leathery. That baking spice, though, really kind of pushes it to, and that's kind of what I was hoping it would do. The proof kind of pulled out those notes that I got in the long ball bottled and bond, but it just explodes. I mean, this is awesome. I really like this one.
Yeah, it's a great bourbon. It's a great traditional bourbon, right?
I mean,
it's different, but it's
for 7 years. That's awesome.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic.
Yeah. So the next
I still have both spice and sweetness on the finish.
Yep.
So often you'll just be left with one or the other, or you just be left with the lingering oak or whatever. And I've got all three just still sitting on the back palate. It's wonderful.
Yep.
What you got, Trey?
The next one's going to be A, and that's going to be the Front 9 Black Label.
Oh,
I know. Go on,
Oh, wow. That's a totally different direction.
You said sample A, right, as in alpha.
Front 9. All right. And here we go. I think I got that right.
So I'll start it out, and then I'll let you gush over it, Peyton. So the Front 9 was you'll note the difference in labels here. This is the Black Label. This was our second generation product, right? It's a beautiful black label as black labels go, but it's difficult to read on the shelf. I don't know what possessed me to put black labels on these bottles, but I did. But long and the short of it is this particular product was the first product that we bottled at Bardstown Bourbon right after they put in their bottling line. So it's got a beautiful history with Bardstown Bourbon. We learned a lot on that bottling run. They learned a lot on that bottling run. And this is many people's favorite expression that we've ever come out with. And Peyton may be one of those guys. So I'll let Peyton talk a little bit about it.
Well, yes. I mean, it's number one, I missed out on the very first two expressions that Bushwood released. So Bushwood launched the brand with a 15-year back nine and the 6-year-old version of this expression.
This guy, by the way, this is the 15-year.
Yeah.
It's the original. This is the OG 15-year with the wax seal, which was one of the greatest kidding decisions I ever made.
But so yeah, I did not come on board with Bushwood in the first 6 months or so. I came in a little after that. I mean, those first two expressions, sold out almost instantly, and Brad quickly moved on to the Front 9 7-year, the Long Ball 6-year, and a Rye at 6 years old. But my favorite thing about the Front 9, number one, for my palate, it's absolutely incredible. It's a sunset sipper. It's a special occasion pour. It's what you bust out when you have company over that you like, and it's the bottle that you hide when you have company over that you don't like. You don't want them drinking it. But Brad hired my golf company to make some hats for the Masters in 2022.
Yeah, and you needed to make them in like 5 days.
Yeah. We pulled it off. I didn't have a lot of time, but I did some custom embroidery work. Got these hats out to him, and Brad's just a genuine dude, and he sent me a little care package as a thank you. And that care package was had the front nine in it, in one of the 3 bottles. And at this time, I believe Bushwood was only sold in California, in Georgia, and maybe 1 or 2 other states, but relatively new to me as a company. And of course, born and raised in Kentucky my entire life. You can imagine I have a friend group that also is passionate about bourbon and collects bourbon, and we have bottle shares and all that stuff. So I had some of my closest friends over, and we got to crack open Bushwood, the original thank you package that Brad sent me. And what really got me intrigued about Bushwood was within a week of that bottle share, I had 4 friends text me saying, "Hey, Peyton, I've gone to 4 different liquor stores, 5 different liquor stores. I cannot find that front 9 anywhere." And so I reached out to Brad, and Brad was like, "Well, we're brand new. We're just now. I mean, we haven't been around a year and a half, so we haven't expanded that direction yet." But I knew right then and there from a friend group who, I wouldn't call them bourbon connoisseurs, but that this was a special product, and that without me having any affiliation to the brand, people were out looking for it and wanting to purchase it, and they wanted a bottle. So that was the first green flag that I had that said, "Man, they've got something going here." So yeah, the front 9, it's still circulating in the market. It's the only existing product that we still have available for sale that we launched the company with.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's not going to be around forever, right? No more barrels. I think.
Yeah, we're at the tail end of that beautiful fella.
Yeah, I think the original plan was similar to the other gold labels that we put up on the screen. I think the original plan was when the front 9, those barrels aged to about 9 years, we would relabel as a front 9 year. But back in 2024, the demand was so high that we had a bottle every single barrel at 7 years. So that's where we stand with it, and it's incredible. Level 3 char, a little higher corn than the long ball, a little less malted barley. So, but yeah, you all are tasting it. What do you think?
It's got a butter barrel,
middle
palate for me, right off a shot.
Honey butter.
Yeah. I think it finishes nice with that same expression. I think nose is hotter than what it is. To be honest,
that's what I was gonna say. I think it drinks higher than its proof a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's just because it's got a lot of flavor. Man, it's just different than
to me. It's full on raspberry on the nose. Raspberry.
Okay.
I can see that. Dark fruit a little bit.
Yeah, I kind of got if you put dark fruit in a pie, kind of I do get a little baking spice maybe on it on the back end a little bit.
Fried pie.
Yeah.
Do you taste any orange peel in there?
I can see
that.
Zest,
maybe like a zest in an old fashioned or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. Oh, now that I say that, the orange really comes out.
Yep.
Actually, now that you say that, I get that. The power of suggestion. I'm getting that orange right on the nose.
Yeah, I know. As soon as you said, but it's like the zest when they zest.
I think that might be. Yeah, it's what they put in an old fashioned. It's the rind that they've squeezed. Yeah, that's better than raspberry. That's more accurate.
No, it's solid.
It's a good one.
I think this one. I mean, if you're playing the proof game, you put this in a blind. I mean, it's smooth, it's solid, but I think you're going to think it's higher than 95 proof.
Yep.
Just because it has complex. I mean, I guess in my mind, a lot of times, there's only a few companies I know that the lower proofs really deliver layers, right? I think Michter's does it extremely well. I think they do it really well. And outside of them, there's not many. Some companies have one expression that'll do it, but most don't. But
you can get into some higher aged bottle and bonds too that'll kind of do that. But,
Right.
but the age is what's providing
Yeah.
that time in the barrels,
right.
getting those extra tannins and stuff. And you're like you said, if that's a char 3, that's definitely being proven on the palate with this.
Yeah, that's solid.
That is what you said, Peyton. It was a char 3 on this one, or is that the last?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep,
Okay.
that's correct.
I can definitely see that dark tannin coming through on it.
Yeah.
That's
I think
where
that's
that
where I'm
dark
getting the
fruit
spice
kicks
on the
in.
back end.
That's great. Good job, guys, on that one for sure.
Thank you.
That one's special.
All right, you should be pulling up the long ball weeded now.
I don't think we have that one. We have the we're going into this. We got the 2 still waters left.
I'm fine with that.
3 left. What are the 3 that we have?
You don't have the
Yeah,
long
we're
ball
gonna go.
weeded there?
No, that
Brad,
was
I
the.
sent these sample bottles a little while back. I don't know if I had the weeded yet.
No, it's okay. It's no big deal. Go. I mean, look, this is. I mean, the Stillwater Rye is my child.
But Trey,
That's
what are the
that's my special baby.
We're gonna go.
Trey,
with
we have the.
It's the Stillwater Gold label.
Stillwater Gold label.
Wait a minute. What are the 3 that we have left? What are they?
You've got
Gold label.
Stillwater 7-year, Stillwater 9-year cask.
Yep.
And
then the 11-year back 9 bottle and bond.
That's right.
Okay. And we want to do that one last. Is that what we're thinking?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So we're going C. And that is, hold on here. Pull it up. That is the Stillwater Gold. Is that what we're doing?
Stillwater Gold label, 7-year.
Gotcha.
Here you go. So let's talk about this guy. So you all, you're in the business. So 4 or 5 years ago, ryes were all the rage. High ryes were all the rage, right? People love them in cocktails. Certain people love a rye more than a traditional bourbon. But one thing that stuck with me is I was never personally a fan of heavy rye. I'd never liked a high rye. It's very specific to me. I need something a little bit more versatile, right? So I imagined a mash bill that rode the line between a rye and a bourbon, which ultimately arrived in the form of a 51% rye, 45% corn, 4% malt and barley. And I leaned into that hard with our first Stillwater 6-year, which took every top award there was in every spirits competition. We maxed out on that particular product, and we have aged into some supreme expressions, which you're about to taste. Stillwater 7-year is, and it's fascinating, right? How people are. We talked about this a little bit earlier about how people stick with what they know, and they refuse to, like I drink Jack, and that's what I drink, right? I can't tell you the number of times people have told me I don't drink rye. And I can tell you that every single time somebody said to me, I don't drink rye, I say, you will after you drink this. And I hand them the shot, and then I show them the bottle. In some cases, I've even done a blind. I've turned the label around and I've said, try this. So this expression at 95 proof is insane. It tastes, it's one of the smoothest, most versatile whiskeys you're ever going to have. You can drink this thing in any cocktail and it's going to kill it. You could drink it over a cube, which is my preference, and it's going to go all day long, all night long. It just holds. It's such a unique, special barrel of whiskey in every facet. At 95 proof, it tastes, the viscosity gives you a much thicker mouthfeel, giving the illusion of a higher proof than it is, but the finish is insane. So front to back, this thing is absolutely perfect. And I'm gonna let you. I'm done selling you on it. I mean, that's how I feel about it. But you can tell me what you think.
I tell you what, it's another butter bomb. To be honest,
Yes.
I think it's like a creamy. It doesn't have a salt kick at all. It
But
doesn't have.
How often do you say that about buttery and creamy? How often do you say that about a rye? Like never.
Very seldom.
Yeah.
It's either going to be bitter or dill.
Yep.
If it's youthful.
Or minty.
Yeah, you don't get that spearmint flavor at all. I mean, Brad, the guy you mentioned, like you were talking about, is me. I'm not a rye drinker, right?
Yep.
There's very few ryes I find that I thoroughly enjoy, that I have backup bottles on my bar. It's the spice, the spearmint.
Yep.
Just kills it for me.
Yep. Agreed.
But on this, man, I kind of get, I mean, I'm going to say like a candy apple. I don't know. Like you're at the fair, go get a candy apple.
Oh, well, that's a cool thing.
That's just what I get off of. Like
call
you walk by and
Yeah.
you smell that candied apple.
You're going to get a lot on this. There's so much going on.
Oh, wow.
And by far my favorite expression for tastings, because I love surprising people, and I also love I don't want to say this the bad way, but proving buyers wrong. In Kentucky, a lot of buyers at retail stores say, "Oh, we don't do rye. You're never going to sell the rye. It's not going to do well." And I say, give me a shot.
It's beautiful.
And it's consistently the best performing expression at all my retail tastings.
Yep.
And it's because it's unique.
That's what you don't tell them. You don't tell them up front that it's a rye, because I think you'd have a very difficult time picking this out as a rye if you didn't know up front.
Yeah.
I think on the nose I wouldn't tell it's a rye. I think after tasting it, I can tell it's a rye, but it's very
approachable.
Ginger. Yeah. It doesn't overpower.
You're knocking on butterscotch a little bit, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Just a little bit as it opens up. I think it's starting to pop.
I like Trey's candied apple, not caramel apple, candied apple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I get the butter note. I get the butter note, like when I taste it. Like it's there.
Yeah. The thing that I think has been surprising, or not, I guess not surprising, or pleasant, whatever, has been the viscosity from the 94 proof right up front all the way through. The viscosity on these has been, we haven't had any real ass kickers. I mean, the 120 proof was and it probably, for me, probably drank about 115. But from 94 to that, everything has just had this great viscosity.
Yeah. And nothing's really fallen off. Honestly, with this many samples, I was expecting one or two just to kind of die.
Not have finish.
Just not finish well, or just kind of be meh. But, I mean, they've all delivered in their own way. I mean, these are very unique, and it's interesting to see that as we go through these expressions. And I love that because it tells me, like, you've taken the time to curate it to a point where it does follow through. And it's not just something you go, oh, this barrel's good, done.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's very important to us to never have a product that is like another product that we have. So the portfolio has to be across the spectrum, different enough to have a place in the portfolio, plain and simple. So if it's not different enough, if it's not wholly individual, then it's not gonna be a part of what we're offering.
James, I'm with you. A cognac finish would be great.
I live in Lexington, Kentucky, and I feel like I know that I've seen at a couple of the Kroger Wine and Spirits an expression. They keep it behind the counter, and I want to say it's in a gift box, and it has a higher price tag than what I'm seeing on the website. What would I be seeing?
Yeah, so in Lexington, Kroger specifically, there's probably half a dozen to 10 stores. They originally allowed us to sell into a handful of Krogers before we got the expansion deal in the fall. And some of those Krogers are in Lexington. Not all of them. Not all 10 or 12. Those stores did pay a little bit of a premium with our former distributor. And just Kroger as a corporate, and this doesn't fall on the individual store leads or anything. This is a corporate thing, which many of the managers don't have any power over. But yeah, you'll see some higher pricing at some Krogers than others that haven't made those adjustments. But depending on which Kroger store you'll walk into, their pricing reflects not only the new and improved pricing, but much more competitive than what you'll find on our website. I've had individuals at Kroger's buy 4 or 5 bottles from me in at one tasting because they haven't come across a product they didn't like. But yeah, there are a few Krogers that haven't quite made those corrections yet. So that's what you're seeing. I don't know about the gift box.
Yeah. Okay. So that was a question mark for me, but I can picture it sitting up on the top shelf behind the counter and at my local. And this would be, if you were to come to do a tasting in Lexington, it would be the first or second Kroger you would come to do a tasting at. Do you Peyton, do you have Lexington as part of your territory?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Peyton has everywhere as part of his territory.
Oh, so he's got Lexington, Kentucky, Portland, Oregon, San Antonio, Texas.
Out west. He doesn't come out west unless I wanted to play golf. So, but he has come out to Pebble Beach to work.
If you were to say the street name, Top Jimmy,
Beaumont.
Yeah,
Beaumont.
absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
that's Mike. Mike's at that store.
That's right. That's Mike Plumley. Mike Plumley is a dear friend.
I know Mike. Mike was the first Kroger to bring in our vodka when it wasn't approved. He said, "I don't care about the rules. I want to bring in the vodka."
That's Mike.
Yeah. So Mike has done really well. In fact, that store holds the record for one of my best tastings. I only sampled 11 people in 3 hours. And I sold 17 bottles.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, shit. If only I'd known you were there.
Yeah.
I'll be back. I'll be back.
Yeah. You would have sold 34 that day.
No, Mike's awesome. We love Beaumont Kroger. We're also in the Beaumont liquor barn as well. Yep.
I don't know. When was the last time you were in that store?
Probably a few months ago.
Okay, so that Andrew Hatfield, the store manager there, he moved over about a year ago from one of the other stores in town. And look, I spent 40 years in retail operations, and Andrew Hatfield at that liquor barn is what, as far as his drive for sales, and not just sales for Liquor Barn. He wants every single sale at Liquor Barn to go through his store. Yeah. And so when he knows that he has an audience for a particular label, he will clear out Central Kentucky and bring it all to his store. And his boss, Brad, lets him do it because he knows that Andrew will sell it. I mean, he's a regional director's dream for a store manager that wants to drive sales. He's awesome. But
I can tell you personally, Brad Williams is an absolute gem of a man. That guy treats our brand well.
Well, I can tell you from experience, meeting him one time, I can vouch for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an incredible dude. Really like him a lot. Really like him a lot.
So I live in that Kroger and that Liquor Barn are kind of a master plan community, Beaumont, and I live only probably a quarter mile from the Beaumont Liquor Barn, and maybe a half mile from the Kroger. So that's
well, next time you go into Brew Burger Bar, you'll be able to order a long ball, bald and bond.
Oh,
there you go.
Yeah, Brew Burger is awesome. Great burgers. Yeah.
Let's track that 9 year. Let's see what that 9 year is all about.
Okay, what is that? Is that
that's
B?
gonna be D.
That's the still, yeah.
Which one?
Still D.
Stillwater 9 year cast.
D.
Now this is one I'm not going to say anything about because I don't need to say anything about it. I'm going to let you guys be the judge.
Oh, that reminds me of something.
Okay, wait a minute. Which is this? The Stillwater Gold, or
It's Stillwater cask strength. It's got the gold label.
I'm looking on the website. What should I be looking for?
On the website, look for the word perennial.
Okay,
yeah,
perennial low rye.
There you go.
That's the identifier there.
Okay, perennial.
Wow.
So let me give you a little history on that. The reason it's called perennial is the inspiration for that particular product. If you know Pebble Beach, is Stillwater Cove, right? So Stillwater Cove is world-renowned cove right there in Pebble Beach, and I actually talked about it on the very first Stillwater label that ever came out. I put fun fact, literally in these words, fun fact: most of the grass around Pebble Beach is perennial rye, and that was an effect of our low rye whiskey. And Pebble Beach called me and told me that I should probably take Pebble Beach off of the label, which I did. It was a beautiful conversation we had. But you can't mess with the fact that the fact is it's perennial rye everywhere out there. So really special product here, this particular guy.
So, Brad, where do you live?
I'm in a place called Corona Del Mar, California.
Oh, shit. I'm born and raised San Diego.
Well, then you know where I am. I mean,
yeah, I know exactly where you're at. Yeah.
San Diego is pretty amazing too. We've got a little beachside community here, wedged between Newport Beach and Laguna Beach, right on the coast, and it's a pretty special place to raise our kids, I got to tell you.
When I was a kid, we used to we had a relative that owned a home in Laguna. There's a private community called Emerald Bay in Laguna Beach.
Oh yeah.
And they would go take a trip to Europe every summer, and they would say, hey, the house is going to be empty for 3 weeks. So during the summer, we go spend 3 weeks at their house, and of course, Emerald Bay, you got a private beach, the private pool, private park, all that kind of stuff. It was fantastic.
It's a super awesome place to have a little vacation.
Yeah.
Don't let Brad fool you. He still likes to come out and visit me in the sticks in Kentucky.
I love
Hey, you guys come out. Let me know you're coming. I would just love to meet you and shake your
100%.
hand. And there's some really cool places to visit, around here with some great whiskey.
I know there is. I love Kentucky. I told Peyton when Peyton and I first started talking, and that's how Peyton and I got together. That's another fun story that ultimately you guys will hear. But I said, Peyton, does everybody in Kentucky mow their lawn? I've never seen a state ever anywhere where everybody takes such pride in their lawn. Everybody. I don't care what your socioeconomic status is. You have a great lawn. It's absolutely insane to me. It's such a beautifully manicured state.
Good old Kentucky bluegrass.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it's we moved here in 2016, and we haven't regretted it. I mean, we miss things about San Diego, friends, family,
absolutely.
This restaurant, that restaurant, but we love it here in Lexington. I mean, we absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's there's a lot of reasons why it's challenging to live out here.
Mm-hmm.
Many reasons, which we will never go into. But for our kids, for the life that our kids lead, I'm willing to make some sacrifices for the quality of life that they have. It's amazing to have them so close to the beach and being able to, be outside 365 days a year, without having to deal with extreme heat or extreme cold or whatever. So, again, we have our issues out here. I'm a native Texan. I'm a 5th generation Texan. So there's a lot of deep Southern roots in my family. But California's got a special place.
Yep.
Now this one's giving me a little bit of spice real quick.
Yep.
I'm getting a black pepper, corn, nutmeg, Maybe I need to taste it. I'm gonna see if it's allspice on the palate, because that's kind of what that should lead to.
Man,
Now think about it. Now
delicious.
think about it, boys. Think about it. You've got a 7-year 95, and now you've got a 9-year cask. And I don't know what the proof is on the samples you're drinking. You would know it's on that bottle, but it's got to be somewhere in the mid-teens, 1-teens.
This is 120.5.
120.5. Okay, so that's at the upper end of the scale of that expression in terms of cask strength. But think about the differences there. So, it's one thing to have the same mash bill, right?
Yeah.
But then look at what's happened to that product over the course of 2 years, and moving it from a 95 proof to a cask strength. The massive difference in what that product tastes like. So you can see that even though it's, the DNA is sort of intact with that product, how amazing the difference is between those two products.
Yeah, when I'm writing my tasting notes down, it's just like it's two totally like. I don't know if I'd pick up this as the same mash bill. I honestly don't.
Exactly.
And I mean, I know y'all might disagree, but you remember Double Bubble as a kid? I kind of get that on the nose with the
shitty bubble gum.
I remember I used to put as much in my mouth as I possibly could.
The best 5 seconds of your life.
That's kind of what I get. Like if you added a bunch of pepper to that, that's kind of what I'm getting. Kind of a little sweetness that, I don't know, just that. And it's just different. Like, and I didn't get any of that on the gold label.
And it's just thick and juicy. It's just meaty. It's just fantastic.
That would be great with a cigar.
Yes, exactly what I talked about earlier.
Yeah, that I got an Olivia V. I would smoke with that all day long.
Yep.
I'm telling you what, man, this honey butter is staying consistent for me. I don't know if it is for you guys, but it's just being very consistent. And then the finish turns into that black pepper allspice that I was hoping for. And I think that'll fight you a little bit with the proof being 120. What'd you say, Trey? 123?
124.5.
124.5. Yep.
Yeah, the pepper on that reminds me of like the Heaven Hill pepper on theirs. The way it comes forward on the end.
Peyton, Brad, I'm looking at the website, and I know that we had 7 samples. I'm trying to figure out which 2 we didn't have or we don't have, and I'm thinking
you don't have the long ball wheated,
right?
And I believe that's the only one you don't have.
Stillwater Black. Stillwater Black.
Yeah. You don't have Stillwater Black, which is literally the first Stillwater that we ever released.
Okay.
And if you can get your hands on a Stillwater Black 6-year, that's an insane product.
Well, I'm going to say I'm not a rye drinker, but this cask strength, I really, really like.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Okay.
There's not a Stillwater expression that we put out that will disappoint you. The 6-year, the 7-year, the 9-year cask.
Yeah, that's really good.
All right.
You had that one the day I was there.
I did not.
No, we don't. We have made a conscious decision on that product to not push it out too much.
Yeah.
So it's and to be honest with you, I'm not sure how long we'll have it in rotation, because I think we're gonna release a consistent 10-year Stillwater, and pull it out at a price point that's absolutely insane for that product. So a lot of discussion around that product, trying to get to what we believe is the best of the best of the best, with all the characteristics that people need to just go crazy for it.
But in all fairness to Peyton, I walked up and said, I'm not a rye drinker and I love weeders. So, I mean, it's probably not one he would have put in front of me to start off with. So.
And he just looked at you and said, we got you covered.
He did.
Man, you could come up to me and say whatever, and I'm still going to have something for you that you're going to like.
That's right.
And honestly, guys, that's the way it happened. It was like, hey, I didn't have long. I had a short amount of time. I was with my wife. We were headed somewhere, and I was literally in there to check on a barrel pick we did. And I met Peyton, great conversation, and started talking, and I just said, this is what I like, this is what I don't. He goes,
as soon as he left, he called us on the phone. It's like, we got to get these guys. We got to get these guys.
Oh,
yeah.
We're glad you're all here doing this with us. So thank you for that. I didn't mean to
thank you.
in Trey's comment there, but I just wanted you to know that part of it. He did reach out to us in the car. So,
and I mean,
it was in the car. Yeah.
Yeah. I walked out to my car. My wife and I were headed to where we were going, and I texted them both. I think I called them. I was like, hey, I don't know if anyone's done this or slept on this, but someone needs to get it out there because this is good. And
everything happens for a reason. So that store, Brad, you probably know this, but that was that Liquor Vault. All right. So the owner of Liquor Vault in Knoxville is named Savon, and he had another store, and our vodka did really well. And he wanted to order a large sum of vodka for his brand new store. We made him a custom display, and I couldn't quite get him to bring in our whole whiskey portfolio, but he, we're talking about coming out for a tasting, and I said, Savant, like, I'm very happy that the vodka is doing well for you, but our whiskey is what we're known for, our Kentucky bourbons. And so I said, I'll come out for a tasting, but bring in a couple of our bourbon SKUs. Let's make it happen. So it was shortly after that, maybe a week or two later, that we have the tasting, and we have all the vodka and then our 2 new wheated products. And that's the day I met Trey. So yes, super serendipitous, but I'm glad it worked out how it did.
Yeah, before we move on to our last one, my local store here, y'all don't know because you haven't watched the channel before, but Marty and I lived in the same area until he moved. But I'm in Tri-Cities, and we have a local store here. They did the first barrel pick from Buffalo Trace that was ever done.
Wow.
And the owner of that store passed away a few years ago. The new owners are there. They're doing a great job. They're learning the bourbon business. But he was known for his picks. He could walk in any distillery, do a pick, put his name on it. He knew every distiller. He didn't have to wait. He just flew down there and said, hey, let's go. And they'd give him whatever he wanted.
Until 4
and that's it's a bourbon drinker store for sure. Yeah. And they still go there. And they're getting better at their picks and things like that. But they have 2 expressions.
We're trying to help them
on the shelf.
Yeah, well, they're getting good advice. No horns tooted.
But I told them today, I literally went in today and I said, hey, we're doing a stream on this tonight. You better put it on your shelf. You better get it out. So they literally moved y'all's display from the shelf to as soon as you walk in the store, it's right there. Because I told them, I said, we're going to do it on screen, and you're gonna sell it.
Trey, I love hearing that. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Trey. That's awesome.
We love. That's North Carolina, right, Trey?
South Tennessee. I'm in north of Knoxville.
You're in Tennessee, okay? Yeah. You said you lived.
I'm in North Carolina, so it is here. I got the proof.
But you guys lived close together, right?
We're 4.5, 5 hours apart now.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're in the same town.
We were, yeah. But
I all I'm going to tell you is North Carolina, Kentucky, and Tennessee are enormous for us.
Yeah.
We did 3 years ago in North Carolina. We opened that market with our distributor there, who, as you know, that's a kind of a broker state. Its distribution is totally different in North Carolina. We were so huge out of the gate in North Carolina. It was absolutely shocking to me. And then again, Marty, you're on the ground there, so you know how the things have changed there. You guys have warehouse issues. There's only so much space in the warehouse to get things done. They pulled the market back. They did a lot of things. And then at the same time that happened, our distributor, they kind of cut back, and many of the top guys left there and went to work for brands or left the business altogether. And so we got a whole new team in North Carolina, and we've gone back in and we've literally started to rebuild from scratch. But I'm telling you, North Carolina's always loved our stuff. So those 3 states are huge for us. We love those 3 states.
Yeah. Well, I try to get y'all a good placement there. And, if they sell them, they will buy more. And I will tell them tonight which expressions to bring you in, because I know for the price point, these are good. I mean,
it's funny because my little local store here in Angier, they're doing a Bushwood tasting on Friday.
We love Andrew.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I do too. A whole lot.
That's awesome.
A whole lot. They are good to me in our community. So, yes, Andrew's
That's
awesome.
great.
Andrew's only getting better. There's been some personnel moves that have totally increased the game there.
Gotcha.
It's awesome. Yeah. You love to see everybody, even the retailers. You love to see, as long as we're continuing to improve in what we do, that's all of us are trying to do, is get better at what we're doing.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say, I mean, it surprised me. I mean, honestly, when I first saw Peyton and the brand, I was kind of like, and I've tried everything. I've tried tons of different brands across the board. I'd never had Bushwood till that day. Honest to goodness, I'd never had it. And it's not because of whatever, but when I walk into my local store, thousands of different brands. I mean, you could spend years just going down, picking a bottle a week, and you would never touch the same thing for years. And it's not an expression I'd gotten to. So when there was a tasting, I was like, yeah, let's try it.
Let me ask a couple questions, kind of going off what Trey's talking about, kind of what I brought up with Andrew. Are you guys doing, like, working with, I guess, your new states and the states you're currently in? Do you guys, I assume, have localized brand ambassadors that kind of do this for you guys, or Peyton, or you and Brad trying to do it all yourselves, or how are y'all doing that right now?
Yeah, so that's a good question. In some states, Tennessee being one of them, we have a broker that supports our distributor, right?
Okay.
It's because of the contraction and the upheaval in the distribution marketplace, and you boys all know this. Southern Glazers lays off thousands of people. R&DC has been kicked out of states and left other states, has been purchased. Some of their segments have been purchased by other distributors. The distributors are having a tough time. There's a couple of distributors out there that, have weathered the storm, Breakthrough being one of them. Breakthrough's a premium company. But there's a lot of consolidation going on in the business. There's also a lot of really, really heavy people, amazing people that have lost their jobs, that are looking for opportunity to represent brands and so forth. And that has allowed the marketplace to open up for brokers, for people that want to carry 5 or 6 brands and get a monthly stipend and represent those brands in the state and have their team go and sell those brands. So the distribution landscape, because of the upheaval from 2024 into 2025 and, kind of settling down now, has afforded a lot of opportunity for brands like us to have really super high quality people with a lot of experience that can help us grow our brand. Have we been able to fully exploit it? No, we haven't. We're still a small brand, right? So, but we are always looking for heavy people, great people with contacts and the ability and desire to do things to help us grow our company. And we always will continue to do that. So we have expansion opportunities coming up in some heavy states, always working on great opportunities. The chains are being very aggressive with us and expanding with us. So there's a lot of opportunity on the horizon for our company for those types of situations, Marty. And to answer your question directly, yeah.
My other question was, okay, since we talked about wheat, we've talked about rye, we've talked about some bourbon, and I'm sure it's on your mind, and just like everybody else that's putting out great whiskey, are you looking in the future to doing anything that might be in a finished barrel?
Absolutely. 100%. So as I alluded to in the outset of the conversation, we're known for our premium select single barrels, right?
Right.
And the fact that we age state everything. If you look at our labels, you see mash bills on the labels, you see all the information that you want on a label, so that there's no mystery behind what's going on. We are discussing finishes. We have products in our portfolio that are really, even to us, surprisingly amazing. So we're looking at doing some blends for the first time. We've done some blends that have created things that you've never tasted in the marketplace before, and I mean exceptional tastes. We're also going to do some finishes, some fascinating finishes, interesting finishes. So those things are heavy on our mind every single day as we grow and mature. They're going to be, and when I say, you guys know how the market works when people do these limited release products. For us, it truly is a limited release product, right? Sure. So we're going to do some of those things, some experimentation. And the only thing that's going to get in our bottle, if you see it and it's not one of our single barrels, I'm going to tell you, you need to get it because it's going to be absolutely incredible.
So are you guys, well, I guess, Peyton, are you close to where your barrels are stored, or do you have to travel around to your distilleries and try stuff? Because once you start dealing with finished stuff, you got to try it quite often. You know,
yes.
I just wanted to, yes, but go ahead.
Yeah, so I personally live just a couple hours away from Lancaster, but one of our most recent hires, he lives out in Wilmington, North Carolina, and he's the one doing a lot of those tastings. Former distiller at Breckenridge.
Yep.
He came in to do a lot with the operations and work on some of those specialty projects. So he's been doing a great job. His name's Jordan. He's probably the one going to Angier. And by the way, if I recall, is the guy's name Casey at Angier?
It was.
He was from Kentucky, right?
That I don't know.
He was from a small town in Kentucky.
He might have been.
Yeah.
Casey's doing well.
Good. But yeah, so I mean, I'm like I said, I'm a couple hours away. You know, Jordan's on the other side near the coast, but and Brad's always coming in, so we do what we got.
Yeah, we did a big event in Atlanta not too long ago, and Jordan and Peyton and I all got together and we sampled a lot of the stuff that we've been working on. Came out of that meeting with drunk. Came out of that meeting with some good ideas and some great taste profiles, and are super pumped up. I've consumed a lot of booze in my lifetime. Thank God I'm still alive. And various types of whiskeys, all the way back to, you know, in my college days, a Scotch whiskey. So I've got a pretty good palate for when it comes to taste. And I think the team's got a really good profile, awareness. And so, you know, I think collectively we're gonna turn out some amazing things. We've done a pretty good job on the products we've got so far, but I think the best is yet to come too.
Well, that's great. I've not had. I'll be honest. Everything we've tried, being 100% transparent, I'm not getting any crafty, youthy green wood on anything. I think what I like so far is everything stays consistent. I think either it tastes its proof or it's below it, which is really kind of cool. So, I mean, other than, you know, the I guess, you know, that your 94s are tasting hotter. I guess I should say that. That's what I'm trying to say. I think that's interesting, and it's staying consistent throughout the lower proofs. And I think this creamy butter honey that we get, and then all these baking spices on the back end make all these bottles pretty unique. Yeah, I've enjoyed them. I think it's been really good.
So the back nine is a fascinating product for us. We launched the company with a back nine and a front nine. We sold out of our back nine very, very quickly. And we had not launched a back nine until recently, right? So this particular expression is literally about a month old in the marketplace, and it's not in every one of our markets yet. That's how new it is. But it's the same mash bill as the original back nine. And really, in my mind, an exceptional example of a core Kentucky whiskey, Kentucky bourbon.
This is B for Marty and Toby. It's the last one y'all got left.
Which one?
B.
Okay, that's what I've got here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's creamy vanilla.
An 11-year bottle and bond.
Yep.
I know.
Jimmy, you're in Lexington. Are you familiar with the Barbecue and Barrels festival in Owensboro, Kentucky?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this was our first year doing that. And I learned a lesson. And my lesson was I could bring as much of this back nine as I could have, and I would have sold it all. This was hands down. I had people coming up 2 hours after we were sold out asking for this product. That was an awesome event, and it was kind of a a way to showcase the release of this into the state of Kentucky, and just got into Tennessee, and but yeah, we're talking brand new release, and yeah.
I'll be on. I don't, and this is a personal preference. I don't do KBF. I don't do bourbon on the banks. I don't do that one. It's just, I'm not someone who wants to go walk around in the heat with, 10,000 of my favorite strangers. It's just, it's too many people. And to be honest, too many rookies. And it's hot, and people are drinking too much. And so
come on, really?
Yeah, luckily, when in the bourbon enthusiast community, we have so many opportunities to meet up with each other. Whether it's a couple of every October we have a favorite. All of us, Marty, Trey, and I will all be in Bardstown, Kentucky for an annual meetup, and it's only 150 people, but it's a very special event. And just here in 2 or 3 days, I'm going with some folks up to Hard Truth to do some barrel picks. And again, that's kind of like, that's the family. And it's your whiskey family, but you get to hang out with some really great people. And anyway, so we get enough opportunity to hang out and meet up without standing in being 150th in line to get the next BS release from Maker's Mark.
Yeah.
Guys, this is a toasted creme brulee with like the big sugar particles on top. That's what I'm getting from this.
For sure.
I haven't tasted it yet, but
you talking about B or D?
This is B.
Okay.
Like you get a muffin, they can put the little sugar on top, kind of give it a pop here and there, but it's like more like a toasted creme brulee with a little bit of sweetness.
It's delicious.
Yep.
And I owe Peyton and Brad, I owe you guys an apology. I have seen your products out there for years, and unfortunately, no one has been talking about them like we're talking about them tonight. And I don't generally buy things unless there are folks in the community that I trust that are talking about them. And so I have to apologize because the bottle is beautiful, and I think that I felt maybe that there was too much I don't know, leaning a little too much into the pop culture reference of it. And so I'm glad to have you guys on, because I'm hoping that we can kill and dispel some of that misunderstanding. I mean, this is legitimate, fantastic whiskey from top to bottom.
Great.
Yeah. Thank you. We appreciate that very, very much.
Yeah.
Look, there's a lot of there's many people out there who are passionate, right, about brands they've grown up with, brands maybe their father was into. There's so many reasons why people gravitate towards whatever they gravitate towards. We occupy our space proudly. As I've said numerous times, we're working every day to continue to improve what we're doing. And people are finding us, and those that get us. But you made a very truthful statement about how we may be perceived. And I was very sensitive to that when I launched the brand. But at the same time, I'm not going to change the DNA or what I was trying to do. Like I said, I was trying to sort of disrupt what I perceived as a very serious expression. I've always perceived the bourbon space to be very serious, and sometimes in many cases take itself too seriously. And I never wanted to do that, but I wanted to be incredible in what we were offering for the customer experience. But at the same time, keep it fun, keep it light, and do something disruptive. So I feel like we've been successful in that realm. We're going to stay true to who we are. We're going to continue to grow as we have and continue to improve and, getting opportunities like this with guys like you. I mean, that's what makes any brand better and more approachable.
So is there can people buy directly from the website? I need to look. Is that right? Okay. How many states can you
Great
ship?
question.
Oh, good Lord. There's the ones that we can't ship to: Utah, Massachusetts. I'm trying to remember all of them, but we can ship to most every state.
Those that can't know that all you got to do is ship it to me and I'll move it on. So don't be afraid. You can reach out to me, guys. I'll be happy to give you the UPS store address and get it right to you. So if you see something online and you're in one of those states, just reach out to me. Yeah, we'll make it happen.
That's awesome, Marty. Really appreciate that.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
I mean, that's the way this community works, man. That's the only way we can do it because there's a lot of states, especially with Trey's in Tennessee. Tennessee's one of those shit states for shipping.
Yep.
I mean, it's weird.
We're humbled. We're humbled by you guys inviting us in. And Trey, thank you so much for being open-minded that day and then calling out to your boys and telling them that you needed to at least give us an audience and hear what we had to say and try our stuff. Yeah. And Marty, you're amazing, and Jimmy, thank you so much. And we really appreciate you guys. And
we'll be glad to help you with other channels or whatever we can do to keep the brand going because I'm impressed with what I've had. Like I said, I love the consistent profiles throughout, and I think as your age statements get older, like you said, I think it's only great things coming. So we're really tickled with what we've done and grateful, by the way.
Two call outs. The flavors, obviously, but the two consistent things, viscosity and finish. Mm-hmm. I mean, none of these, are lacking on viscosity or finish, regardless of proof point. I mean, it's fantastic.
Yeah, the lower age statement still coated the palate very nice and had a great finish. So
I think that's what got me the day I walked in. I mean, Peyton, do you remember the sample you poured me? The one sample you poured me?
I do.
It's okay if you don't.
And Trey, I want to make this clear too. You play hard to get. You did. You were playing hard to get. I had to talk you into coming over to see me for a little bit, but so thankfully you did.
You get into these things, and I walk into the liquor store, and it's just like you don't know who it is. It's a moonshine distillery. Just put a charge stick in something. They call it whiskey. And
right,
you're exactly like, right. I really don't. I don't want to ruin my palate right now. And I'll be honest. I never had Bushwood. I've seen it, but I never had it, and I was kind of like, I've never seen a review on it, right? And I'm in the whiskey community, and it's kind of like I just don't know. I don't know. And you talked a good game, and you poured. Don't say what it is because I want to see if Marty and Toby can figure out of the one of these samples is the one he poured me, and it's the reason I called y'all. Can you
I'd have to write it.
The bottle. I'm just trying to.
The rye. I bet.
Marty, I think that's a good call. That would be.
I think it'd be the rye for me.
The thing that I'm trying to get over is that I don't know if Trey's ever been told that from another man that he plays hard to get.
Yeah. Maybe that's why I got the hat. I don't know.
Gotta work him a little bit. I said, Trey, I don't believe in coincidences, Trey. I'm here, you're here. I think it was meant to be.
He did. And
hey, just as a side note before we call it a day, I just want to let you know these are about to hit the market right here.
Oh wow.
Oh my God, your airline bottles.
I love that. Nice. That's awesome.
Look at that little guy.
Hellfire.
Oh my God!
Identical replicas,
dude. That's awesome. I mean,
I think I have my new dozen Christmas tree ornaments picked out for
there you go
for this holiday season.
They're fun. They're great.
What's funny is you just need to package them like the Doc Holliday ones.
Yes. I love what Doc Holliday's doing, man. I love those
Seriously.
guys. Look how great that is. Isn't that fabulous?
It lights up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's funny. I've been at Bardstown a lot in the last couple of months, and I was there for the first time. I saw this maybe 6 weeks ago, and they had pallets and pallets, and I'm talking 2-3 dozen pallets from Highwire Distilling, the Jimmy Red in the little airline bottle like that. And I was like, why is Jimmy Red? That's such a small, why is Bardstown Bourbon Company doing? And then it dawned on me that the equipment for bottling those little airline bottles, that probably is some specialized equipment. It's not your normal bottling line.
Nope.
And Jimmy Red can't afford that. Bushwood can't afford that, but Bardstown Bourbon Company can. So it makes sense that, probably a lot of places are outsourcing their little airline bottles.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is that I'm just gonna say it. It's the elephant in the room. People are drinking a little less, and when they drink quality. Period. And so for us, I've been really kind of having nightmares and dreams about these low priced bottles, these smaller 50 mLs and 100 mLs for 3 years. And so I manufactured them quite a long time ago. And now is the time in my mind to release them. I think it's the perfect time in the marketplace to release these small guys for a number of reasons.
Makes sense. I agree. It's just, and you don't have to be at 137 proof all the time.
Nope.
That's the thing, to have good quality whiskey, just an easy sipper. Like you said, just enjoy your pour and do your thing and move on. You don't
exactly.
You don't have to have high gas, even though we all love it, just, all the time. And that's that. And so we did a blind last night on another channel with Top Jimmy and Dusty Dan. And we kind of did it through what Toby set up, and it was proof related and stuff. And it just kind of works, man. It just build up to it and just stick with it. So we had a great time with that. And this is back-to-back nights that we've had a blast. So thank you guys so much.
No, you guys have a great show. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much for allowing us to be a part of it.
Great show.
Thanks for staying, almost 2 hours, man. That's awesome. And we'll get the word out, and we'll be in touch again, I'm sure.
Thank you, boys. Thank you again.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Awesome seeing you.
All right, buddy. Peyton, if you're in town, let me know.
Thank you. I will.
I will. I think I got your number.
Yep. All right,
okay, boys.
Brad, you too, buddy.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Good night.
Cheers,
good night.
guys.
See you guys. And love the guitar, Peyton, by the way.
Love what?
Peyton's guitar.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, thank
you. Good stuff, man.
Yeah.
That was really good. The lower proof stuff's what kind of surprised me, to be honest. It popped, it came, it delivered, and it had a great finish, and nothing was earthy. And I think that was really good, to be honest.
Well, what's funny is before I went into Liquor Vault, I'd had a Knob Creek 15. That's what I just had. So when I walked in, I really didn't want to try anything because I really enjoyed that. Like it was good pour, and I really wasn't looking to drink anymore. I was just kind of like on the road to go somewhere. And the last sample we had, the 11 years, what he poured me. And dude, it floored me. I'm sitting here like, I just had a Knob Creek 15. And this is holding up with that and viscosity. And Jimmy, Toby, you hit it on the head. The viscosity of it is insane to me throughout the whole thing. And I hadn't had, and I did try the rye. I really enjoyed it, but 5 of the expressions I haven't had. 5 of these expressions I'd never had. And when we went through them, it really floored me how much it just lingered. And I think for the price point that they're at, that is amazing to me.
Stay tuned, Eric, for Liquor Vault. We got things coming.
Yes.
Which is really cool.
I didn't know he was in that area.
What time we got? 10:50. We'll go 10 more minutes on the wheel, and we'll give away 4 bottles.
Yeah, guys, get in. That 7-year bottled in bond is awesome. If you're not in, that thing,
they're all
good. There's not, and that's just it. I mean, I don't think I had one that if I went in and bought it today, I would be disappointed with.
What's the price point on that, Trey? 79, or is it?
I think that one's 79. I think the Weeder was, dude. Y'all know me. I'm a Weeder fan, right? And for a 5-year, like I was not expecting the 5-year Weeder.
Mm-hmm.
I was expecting on a young Weeder, you get that green note, green grass note, and if you know wheats, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. And it just wasn't there. It's a funk.
This 5-year Weeder is spectacular.
Yes,
well,
and it really is.
But that's not. I mean, Green River weeded is probably 5 years. Weller Green Label is probably 5 years. So,
right.
So I mean, yes, I think it's too common that you get that note, but I mean, if there's any distillery that is going to figure that shit out, it's going to be Green River and Bardstown Bourbon Company.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they did a really good job with it, and it impressed me.
Stopped by there on the way home from visiting family in North Carolina.
Man, you hit a gem. That is a new gem too. That's a hidden gem. It's a newer store. I think they've been open 8 months now. So, and their partner store is a bourbon mecca in that East Tennessee area in Knoxville. Christie's in Knoxville is, oh man. And Liquor Vault is their sister store, and they're doing things right.
Yeah, these are fantastic.
Nice. What a great couple nights. I mean,
yeah, really.
To be able to dust off a couple of distilleries. I mean, Milam and Green is just, unfortunately, and hopefully we can help fix it. They're under the radar. And now, I think that more people may even be more familiar with Bushwood, but like me, maybe dismissed it, because of that it was just a cash grab on the marketing and the tie-in with Caddyshack and everything. And how wrong was I? I mean, this is legitimate shit.
It's been here for a couple years.
Well, I mean, Toby, you heard him. He had to talk me into having a sample. I just had a great pour. I walked in. He's doing Bush. I mean,
you're thinking gimmick right off the
No, I really was.
That's the bottom line. Yeah. You're thinking gimmicky, just young, youthful. Yeah. Let's sell whiskey.
But that is just had an 11-year bottle and bond.
Yeah,
that's probably arguably the oldest bottle and bond any of us have had. Yeah. I mean, McKenna's probably at 10 years is probably the oldest we've all had. We just had an 11-year bottle and bond. That's unbelievable.
And the 11 years,
BBC is not releasing that shit under their own label,
which is crazy to me.
Yeah,
they're changing their labels and letting everyone else have the good juice.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, I'm being honest. But the 11-year is the one he poured me, and I was just like, "This is 11-year bottled in bond. No way, no way." And I just left there floored. I did. It's really good.
Well, thanks for setting this up for the channel and everybody in the community, because it's been a really good evening. I mean, it's worked out nicely.
Well, what's funny is like I told you, I've had 2 of the samples. I was really worried we were going to go through 5 of them and just be like, nah.
Yeah.
And the thing is for those watching, I told Peyton when he sent me the samples, I told him, I said, we're going to give you honest feedback. And if it's bad, we don't necessarily sugarcoat it. We're going to be like, it falls short, it doesn't finish well. But I think that's the thing, Toby, you hit it on the head. They all finished really strong.
Yeah.
I don't think there was a single one that just fell off the map. If any one, the Weeder probably fell off the fastest, but it was still amazing. For 5 years, I don't think there's much that holds a candle.
There was zero youth. I don't think I remember any earthy notes in anything.
But it didn't fall off. I mean, it might have fallen off because of just being lower proof, but it wasn't. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I'm impressed with Bushwood. I really am. It's this whole tasting. I mean, the day in the store changed my mind on them to get me to do this, but this tasting, going through it, if I saw one of their bottles for sale and I bought it to try something new, I wouldn't be disappointed. So,
good stuff.
Yeah.
Toby, do we want to talk about real quick before we spin and get out of here what we got coming up?
I got to think about it. I don't think we have anything on the books for next week yet. I think we're kind of waiting to see what we want to do with that. I don't think I want to talk about what I picked up today quite yet. I think let's wait till we have a little bit more of a definite plan with that.
Yeah, we got a McBrayer release coming too.
Yeah, but so everybody,
still working on that.
We're going to be doing a joint on June 2nd, Tuesday, June 2nd. It's going to be a whiskey nose and bourbon and balls, all McBrayer all night, starting at 8 p.m. with an hour of bourbon and balls, and then it will transition to whiskey nose at 9 p.m. Bill McBrayer and or his father and or Brian, barrel manager, will be on with us, and we'll be talking about the newest release from McBrayer, the 250th anniversary bottle. It is excellent whiskey in a fantastic package. And we will also be talking about our two barrel picks that are getting released here at the same time. So we've got that coming up. Trying to think.
We've got a couple nights with Hooper samples. We're going to do. We got some labeled samples from Kevin O. We're going to do coming up.
I think we still have a blind from Trey that, it's probably gone bad by this point.
Yeah, we got the Trey blind. Everything just started running with Legends of the Oak. And
the sad thing is I unpack this stuff, I take it out, I set it, I'm looking at my desk kind of going, I don't know which blind is which.
You got to take a picture of it
because I've had it for so long.
Yeah.
And I think Hooper and Dave have that blind as well, so that would be interesting.
Okay.
Oh, or Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's Kevin. Yeah,
Kevin's got it.
Kevin and Hooper, not Dave. Sorry, Dave. I'll send you something, Dave.
Yeah, we got some great stuff coming up.
Yeah.
All right, I think.
All right, Marty, spin it.
We are ready. Let's share.
This is going to be good.
All right, Wheel of Names. Share. Everybody see that? Okay. All right, so let's see. What was the oldest sample we had tonight? Was it 9 years? 11 years. All right. Well, let's shuffle that baby 11 times. And we will give away, the first thing we'll do is the Kevin O'Malley bottle. That is a Benny's 7.5 year Still Austin cast strength bourbon. Unreal. Thank you for donating that. All right, here we go. 11 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let her rip. Thank you, everybody, for donating, helping the channel. Diamond Dave.
Congrats, Dave. Hey, and Big Vic, we'll do those samples when you come to town.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for the 9 year. This is for the Still Austin cast strength bourbon from Raja Daja. Thank you, Roger.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I didn't forget you. You're in here.
Turner. Mike T.
Mike T. Big Mike. That's who we need to get some samples to get online.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hang on a second.
Mike T is the shit.
The Lancinator. You're right here. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is for the 5-year Bushwood I've got. The 94 proof wheated bourbon.
It's really good.
Coach. Jesse.
Lance is giving me shit. Rename me again. All right. This is for Trey's big Bushwood. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Thank you, buddy, for doing that.
It's been fun. The
Bourbon Jerks.
Jerk.
Yes, sir, Tom.
Right on, Tom.
Awesome. All right.
Man, that was fun.
It was great.
I love when we find something new, something different.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just anything we can bring the community that's not been done and gives everybody an insight and new details of what's out there and give you the opportunity to try it is really good. So that's awesome. But yeah, guys, that'll about do it for this live stream. Unless anybody has anything to add, we good? Anything?
Yeah, no. All good.
All right, we'll figure out what we're going to do next week and let you know. Me and Toby's got to get together, get some schedule stuff worked out on the phone and all that good stuff. So, guys, thank you for watching. Check out Bushwood if you can. And if you can't ship it to yourself, I'm always available. So we can figure something out with that too. So, guys, thanks for watching. We will see you all again next week right here on the Whiskey Nose. I am Marty the Nose Marty. And whiskey may not solve all your problems, but by God, it's worth a shot. We'll see y'all later.